October 5th, 2022, and I've decided, of course, to start recording more videos and documenting my thoughts. In this video, 3 things that I've been thinking through today, and make sure to continue watching them. I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below if you're watching this. I'm also making this particularly for my family and my future self. So 3 things on October 5th, 2022, I've learned. Number 1, a comment that I read from a place I went to today, to talk about at the end of the video. And it said, as a kind of thought on life, the world is made for you on the one hand. You know, you're born and you grow up thinking, and it's quite often people think, you know, they become something for themselves, they become successful in a field or another, or get a successful career, and, you know, they feel great about themselves. And, you know, and that can happen. You know, the world is for me, you know, I'm the king, or I'm the captain, or I'm the, you know, whatever it might be. So on the one hand, that kind of the world is made for you, kind of egotistical, power driven world. And then in the other hand, you know, you're born from dust and you end up as dust. You know, this kind of deep idea that, you know, that basically everything we do is to a certain extent, you know, it's a picture in time. It's important at the time, but it goes back to nothing. You know, we were made from we come from soil, we end up in soil. You know, everything that is, you know, so it's kind of that difference between, on the one hand, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, you can be the person you want to be, you can be president, you can be the captain of the football team, you can go to the Olympics, you can do all these amazing things, you know. And during my life, you know, I've done some interesting things. You know, I've learned breakdancing, learned Italian in a week, run a 4-minute mile. I worked for WhatsApp, which at the time of filming, you know, is a big company. It's owned by, you know, Meta, which is in the news like at least 20 times a day. But that second thing, that, you know, we're dust and nothing we do is that important. It kind of is, it's a leveling factor. You know, when you start to do things in life, you start to think maybe you're someone and you're someone important. And actually, I don't think anyone is more important than anyone else. Everyone is equal. I don't believe personally that humans are above animals. So that's number 1, you know, like that. It's a really interesting thought that, you know, when you're feeling high and good about yourself, and maybe getting into the realms of arrogance or whatever, you're better than other people or whatever, bravado, remembering that we're all just here for a short amount of time. We all go back to the earth. And most people don't remember anybody after 100 years. Let's see if you can remember 100 people from 100 years ago. I don't think you'll be able to. Number 2, something else I read today is about what matters. And the second thing was that kind of what the world thinks of what you do right now kind of doesn't matter at all. And I think a lot of people, you know, I do this, and I think it's very common that when you do something, you're kind of checking and thinking in your head what other people will think, what will my parents think, what will my friends think, what will the world think. And actually, you know, having read this today, and I think I do think this anyway, I've always felt this, that it's important to do things that you feel comfortable with, that current you feels comfortable with, that future you will feel comfortable with. And what the world thinks right now doesn't really matter. And there's some of the good examples of that. If you think about comedy and how that's changed over the decades, some of it was crass 20, 30 years ago, and I didn't feel comfortable about it, but everyone else was laughing. And now if you look at it, a lot of that, some of that humor as of filming this in 2022 is just, it's not socially acceptable. So what the world thinks at the current moment in time is often meaningless. And number 3 was talking about people that are no longer with us. And it was in the context of like, X person was a mother, was a wife, was a sister, was a friend, was a colleague. And I think that really hit me, that, you know, when you hear about someone passing, you often only picture them in maybe one light. So maybe a famous film director or star dies and you think about them as a film star. but actually, you know, they're a brother, they're a father, they're an uncle, they're a friend, they're a mentor, whatever it might be. And I thought that really hit me, that everybody is multiple identities and everybody matters to lots of different people. So where did I learn this, or where did I read this? I read this when I went to synagogue today. Today is Yom Kippur. It's gone out now, as you can see. If I turn off these lights, you can see that it's actually, it's dark out there. It's evening time. I'll turn the lights back on. So they're my 3 lessons from Yom Kippur 2022 for my future self, for my family, for anyone else out there that's mildly interested in my 3 I guess perspective altering thoughts. 1 on egotism and how to keep it in check. 2 on meaning and what is kind of meaningful and meaningless. And 3, the different angles or different identities we all have, and how to try to think about everybody in a multifaceted way, because context is king and it's important to try to think about different contexts. These videos I'm making for myself as well. So Jake, if I'm watching this in 10 years, this is what my thoughts were on the 5th of October, 2022. Thanks.